Hello, namaste everyone. Happy Navaratri. I hope Ma Durga blesses all of you with the power to destruct all the obstacles in your life. Okay, so today's video is for Scorpio zodiac signs. So if you are a Scorpio ascendant or you are a Scorpio moon sign, then this video is for you for the transit of Saturn in the zodiac sign of Pisces. Now, before we start with the explanation, if you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And also, please hit the bell icon so that you get regular updates of my channel. And also, for those of you who ask where you can get readings from me, you can check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com. Under the reading section and unique reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. Okay. And also, this video was made in parts for all the zodiac signs. So it also has an introductory video which has all the conclusion of how Saturn behaves in the sign of Pisces and with regards of the 12th house as well. So you can go and watch that video. I'm going to attach the link in the description box. And then further, you can come back to this and learn how it is going to specifically affect you. Okay, so let's get started. So for a Scorpio rising individual, Saturn is coming in the fifth house. Now, we need to, before we understand what this Saturn is going to do, we need to first analyze what the fifth house is. Fifth house is about one's education, house of one's creative self-expression. It is also the house of Purva Punya Bhava. That means your past life good deeds. So it gives you the results of your good deeds. How strong your fifth house is going to decide how good decisions you take in life, how analytical and logical decisions you take in life. So that's why fifth house is the powerhouse of a whole chart, whole D1 chart, right? First house is also that, but along with the first house, it's fifth house also. That's why all the three trines, the first house, fifth house, ninth house, are important so as to know whether a person is fortunate by luck, whether they are going to have an easy life or they are going to have struggles within their life. So fifth house is the house of your creative self-expression. It's the domain of Leo. So just like Leo is the authority, Leo is the is the lion, he's the king of the jungle. This house can make a person famous, and this house acts like a king of the D1 chart, right? So whenever a planet transits into this house, it activates your romantic relationships, it activates your education, it will give you changes within your education, it activates your logical set of skills and your logical mind. It also makes you learn. It can be learning through mythological text, scriptures, or it can be learning in regards of one's skills. So since you have Pisces in the fifth house, that means internally you're a very intuitive person. And this also shows that you are an individual who, whenever this fifth house gets activated, are going to learn about scriptures, mythology, and also what is the deep study like astrology, occult, or any such field which actually is about predictive, techniques or predictions of the future. This can also talk about speculation. It can also talk about investments. So shares, speculation, this is not the house that denotes crypto because crypto is the eighth house. This is the house which denotes stock investments, mutual funds, and all the other investments that one person makes. Okay, specifically, it's about speculative gains, right? And the fifth house is also the house of children. It's the responsibility towards the children. So when Saturn is coming into this house, it is going to activate all of these things. But along with that, it is going to give you the sense of responsibility. Because when Saturn comes into the sign of Pisces, it's like Saturn has started sitting on your subconscious mind. So it starts giving you results according to your subconscious mind. So when Saturn comes into the fifth house, a person tends to, have their interest into speculative businesses. So as to earn lots of amount of money through shares, speculations, or any sort of investments. But this is something that I always tell with everyone who is either going to have their Saturn's transit coming into the fifth house, or they already have the transit. I always tell them not to invest into shares with a greed of having profits, like quick profits. Because this is a house, when Saturn comes into this house, because this is an anti house of Saturn, because this is the original domain of Leo. So that's why it instills patience within you. It instills patience within your reactions. So, first of all, Saturn coming into the fifth house in the sign of Pisces is going to give you an event which can trigger your sudden moods, which can trigger your sudden reactions. You will have to be careful with your reactions because, Saturn's transit always has a journey. It doesn't have a fixated result from the end to from the beginning to the end. It rather has results like a theme in its transit. First, what it does is whenever it comes into a house, it just looks for different things into the house. It's like a checklist that it makes first of all. So it is going to check each and every element. It is going to make the mess into that house for the initial time period. Then it is going to give you lessons and give you the ability to go for settling this mess out now, so as to gain stability now. So first of all, in the very initial stage, it can give you profits through investments, and it can give you sudden events where your reaction may play in a positive way. But this is only to lure you into such a situation where you just lose your mind. Right? So, first things first, a person has to be very careful with their decisions and with their reactions based on their decisions and based on their actions and based on their understanding to a situation. So, first of all, do not get influenced by any outer source, do not get influenced by anyone. Um, and if you want to take a decision, right, ask your very closest persons, like those that those are always going to help you, or those always want the best for you. Seek your guidance from them, or you can even seek your guidance if you are like in 50s, 50 above. You can take your guidance from your children. Okay, so but you need to seek judgment or seek advice from someone who is a person of, who is a person who that is going to think the best for you. You can take that guidance from your mother as well. But be very careful of your decisions and reactions. Second thing, be careful of investing into shares. Do not invest into short term shares, rather, invest into long term shares. They are going to give you such good fruits in the long run. Okay, it can even activate your romance. But one thing is there with romance, it will activate your romance, but it is going to give you the harsh side of romance. Since it is the sign of Pisces, there's already a fantasy land or an oblivionness. See, Pisces has two extremes. It's either too addicted or devoted, or it's totally oblivion or ignorant. So if you have either one of two, either you are totally oblivion about the romance side of your marriage or romance side of your life, or you are too addicted towards it that you want to have romance, you want to have romantic encounters in your life or within your marriage. So whatsoever side you are on, Saturn is going to challenge that side. For example, if you are very much involved into romance, your world just surrounds around your spouse with the romance thing. You're always about the romantic gestures, but whenever there is a problem within the marriage or relationship, you just turn out oblivion with those conflicts. This Saturn is going to make you face them. This Saturn is going to make your, have a reality check with your fantasies, that it's not, that the marriage is not just about romance, it is also about responsibility. So these are the kind of changes it will make. Another thing you would see is that this Saturn can initiate childbirth for you. That's why there's a responsibility towards the child. Or there is some significant event that might happen for your children. If you are, suppose, in your 40s, 45, or even 35, and you have children, there can be a very important period of their life where your attention towards them, your responsibility towards them is going to count. This is a domain, this is an area from which you cannot escape. You will have to fulfill your responsibility towards the fifth house. If suppose you are a person who is into education and who is learning right now, who is, compete have giving competitive exams, or who is learning, who is into his masters or his or her masters, or bachelor's degree, then this Saturn is going to make you delay your education. So something related to your education can happen. Like, for example, maybe you have a love encounter and there is a breakup, or there is a situation which has been extremely heavy on on your mind, and because of that you find the hardest time to study. This is the karma that you're going to have, because of which either you are going to have a delay in the fulfilling of your education, or there is going to be lack of concentration and then disappointment from education that you're going to have. So definitely this is the time for you to seek a balance between your romantic life and between your education life. But definitely, if you any one of you who has not encountered any romantic situation till now, but has his or her exams in the coming time, any competitive exam you are preparing for, I would suggest you to not get into any romantic relationship. Wait till your exams are over. Only then dive into that. Okay, so let's get started with the explanation part, right? Yeah. So, okay, so here we have Scorpio ascendant. Sorry. Wow. Okay, so we have the Saturn's transit in the fifth house. So we did discuss what the fifth house is about and how it is going to affect. So originally, this fifth, this Saturn coming into the fifth house is the lord of your third and the fourth house. So again, this will talk about your emotions. This will talk about your skills. So you will have an opportunity to develop your skills, and for that, you are going to do research, you're going to learn, you're going to go into that learning mode, knowledge accumulation mode, right? So, Saturn coming here is going to aspect the seventh house. So, okay, before going into aspects, I want to discuss one more thing with Saturn coming into the fifth house. Whenever Saturn comes into the fifth house, it will give you the ability to make wrong decisions in life. That is because this is the house of Leo, right? Saturn is a planet of service. Leo is a zodiac sign, or sun is the planet for royalty, leadership. Now, suppose you For some reason, you allow a servant to be your authority, to be your boss. Will he able to manage that? He might be able to manage in some time if suppose someone has Saturn in Leo and they have a Vargotama Saturn in Leo. They might train themselves, or the circumstances will train themselves or them over a period of time, so as to be that a person who is at service but who has that royalty as well. But these two things, or these two elements, are quite contradictory to each other. And because of this contradiction, this this Saturn is going to make you take decisions which will be backed by your pride, your ego, and maybe your anger. That's why I stressed upon the reactions. So that's why a person with a Saturn in the fifth house, or Saturn transiting in the fifth house, may make very non-beneficial decisions for themselves. Or rather, in simple language, it makes you make stupid decisions in your life. You will see a person with Saturn in the fifth house, and then Saturn somewhere else in their Navamsha, maybe at a good, very, very good placement in Navamsha. This is the person who has learned from their decisions, who has learned from their bad decisions, and learned from their, um, you know, obstacles, their life. They have just learned because of their experiences. That's what Saturn does in the fifth house. Right? So be very careful of what you decide on, how you take decisions. That's why I asked that you must take a suggestion of someone you feel who wants the best for you. But also be aware of outer influences, unnecessary influences over your decisions, over your mind, and in your home, or in within with your emotions as well, because um this is the house of your emotions. The fourth, it is originally the fourth lord. I just remembered an instance I had with someone, like she's my doctor basically. So I was talking with her like a few days back, and she just changed her hospital. She started working in some other hospital, and I asked her that why did you do so, and nobody knew about it. I just got to know like a few days back, and then she told me that what happened, that all of the people, all of the people working, all of the faculty decided to leave that hospital and go for a better growth to another hospital. But then what happened, I gave my resignation, and I prepared myself to go to another hospital and start my practicing there. But the moment I gave my resignation and I came out, and I asked them that, like, now it's your turn, you guys go ahead. And the guys ditched for some reason. And they were like, oh, we think we must take some time, you know? So, and I am telling you, literally at that point, what happened, that my mind went into this, thought process, that I think she's having her Saturn's transit in the fifth house. Right now, currently, she has some Saturn's influence in the fifth house or over the fifth lord. Because of that, there was a transformation in her career there, because fifth house is eighth from the 10th house. So there's a transformative event that happens with one's career. And at the same time, she took that decision out of influence from everyone. But then she told me that that decision turned out to be very good for her, but rather it was not the best for the others who are left in that particular hospital. And now they are like that, now we want to join you. So give the recommendations and all of that. So that was the thing, that she might have a very good fifth lord. That's why the events turned out positive for her, although it was backed up by a certain influence. That's what is a perfect example of having Saturn's transit in the fifth house. Okay, so that's how things can happen for you people as well. But based on howsoever your fifth house condition is, fifth lord is, you need to be aware of whether or not you need to fall for such traps or not. Sometimes such traps can be the catalyst for your growth, but sometimes they can be the problematic factors for you. Okay, so now the third aspect of Saturn in the seventh house, which is coming over the sign of Taurus. So it's the third aspect. You'll have to make efforts, you'll have to do actions, and you will have to work upon your communication within the marriage. What will happen because of Saturn in the fifth house? Person has the worst way of communication towards the marriage or the married partner or the relationship partner. They just don't know how to express themselves. That's why the third aspect of Saturn in the seventh house is destroying the significance of the seventh house. That's why it makes a person have misunderstanding with the spouse or their relationships. So misunderstandings become very prominent here. And this also means that you will have to make efforts or make, certain actions towards the stability of your, of your marriage or your relationship, or you will have to work towards the financial agreements or financial side of the relationship, marriage, the financial responsibility of the marriage. And also, this house is the house of your business. So this could also mean that your decision may impact the stability of your business. So that's why you would require to work really hard to bring that back into the onto that stable ground and work very, very hard towards that matter. Okay, so it also can affect your partnership. If you have a business partnership, it can affect that. There can be a lot of dominance that you may get from your business partner, and because of that you are having complications. It can similarly be with your married partner or your relationship partner, that there is overly dominance from their end. Because of that, you are expected to work very hard, or it could be triggered because of your decision first, right? But of course, the third aspect always means that that is the house of struggle. That is the house which will make you make so much efforts and to take certain actions towards that house, right? Just one second. Now, the seventh aspect of Saturn. Seventh aspect will be on the sign of Virgo. And seventh aspect of Saturn always gives support. That's why having Saturn in the fifth house can give fame to an individual, because the seventh aspect goes into the 11th house. So such people have good support from their social circle. And their recognition also works well. But here, the thing is, with Scorpio, when Saturn is coming into the fifth house, it is going to give its seventh aspect on the 11th house where Virgo is there. That means that the support that you are going to get, you are also going to get criticism with it. You are also going to the social circle or the people that will be supporting you, they'll also become very critical of you. They'll also make you, in a way, it's kind of a negative motivation you can expect from your recognition and from your social circle, right? But this does tell that you will have to work harder towards gains, your desires. You can be judged, you can be criticized for your desires, but once you prove yourself, you are going to achieve greatest heights. You're going to be recognized, you're going to gain that fame. Okay, so the seventh aspect of Saturn will act as a element, right? And also, there's a technique that we use so as to analyze. My connection is unstable. Just let me check. I hope it is now. Yeah, it's no longer being displayed as unstable connection. Okay. Yeah. So wherever a planet is placed, we simply put that into a Mool Trikon sign, like just invisibly, so as to know what aspects can do. So I am assuming that this Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius. So that means every, the seventh aspect of Saturn from any house will act as the Leo. So you will get learnings from your experiences or from your social circle. You will get the opportunities to learn from people, influential people, people who are already in their life on a very good pedestal, on very good, working well in their life. You'll be able to, get to learn from them. And also, this shows that this can give you fame, this can give you a lot of support. Okay, so even you working with the corporates, you working, with the, multinational companies can also do very well for you, right? Now, the 10th aspect. So the 10th aspect of Saturn will go on your second house. That means you will have to work really hard towards your finances. See, that's why I told you people that this Saturn coming into the fifth house will make you once amount of short-term money from shares, then it is going to give you losses. Then it'll make you, go into that aspect where you'll have to recover those losses. That is a kind of situation the Saturn makes. So that's why there is hard work towards finances. But on the other hand, if you guys become careful, if you guys already know this fact and you can act or you can plan your actions accordingly, you can simply do wonders with your finances. There is a karma that is attached with finances and with the you can expect fight with the family due to some philosophical approach can be about you being involved into spirituality in your life and like it they want you not to be a giver of money and you to be a provider of money to them. That can conflict, or it is the fight of what is right, what is wrong. You want your equal share of money from the family assets, but you feel that I am being biased with, you know, is being compromised there. That can be the fight. Because remember, whenever we see the sign of Sagittarius, that talks for a strategy, that talks for, strategy for fight. So that is actually fight that happens within that house. So you fight for something which is injustice towards you. So that's why it will make you work hard. It will give you karma with your family. You will fight for that karma with your family only if you also have certain planetary. Suppose you will be able to fight only if there are or your Mars is strong in your natal chart. Otherwise, it's more of like that there's some injustice happening with you and you're just compromising with it. But since Saturn is coming into the fifth house, it can even give you that, trigger, that courage to fight for what is right. Along with that, this can also talk about division of assets of the family. Most of all, it happens in the, joint family household. So this can be something that can come into play. But On a whole, if I talk like overall, this is a time where you will have to work really, really hard to balance your finances so as to sustain your possessions. Your possessions can get affected in this, a particular scenario, maybe. And also remember this thoroughly. Do not sell your possessions in the form of gold, investments that you have been doing since long, or anything that you possess, anything valuable that you possess. Do not sell that just so as to make more money. Prefer not doing that. Rather take a loan, but do not do this thing, because I've seen this pattern happening with people and then they regret later. That's why I'm giving this suggestion right now. Okay, so this is that kind of time for you. Your hard work will be paid off. Definitely, your patience, your hard work, everything will be paid off by this Saturn. Okay. And considering the fact in the coming time we have Jupiter in your eighth house, definitely this talks about division with the in the family assets, or it also talks about recreation or creation of assets for you. But it will happen only when Jupiter will enter your eighth house. Okay, so this is a fortunate time for the finances, only it requires a lot of sacrifice and hard work from your end. Now, let's talk about when planets are going to be there and then this Saturn is coming over it. Now, Sun. So, when Saturn comes over Sun in the fifth house, this can actually be quite a, eventful circumstance for you. First things first, it will make you compromise with your love encounter or with your love matter. For example, you may have to get married someone else. You'll have to compromise or sacrifice your love. You'll have to sacrifice your education so as to get married. Something like this you can expect in the coming time, right? It can be that. It also talks about lowering down your ego. It is going to crunch your ego, and it is going to crunch your prideful ego, the ego that you will have because of something good that you have in your life, right? Suppose you are a wealthy individual and you have Sun in the fifth house, then your ego is going to challenged because of your pride, because of the money, right? Do not feel that having Sun in the sign of Pisces is quite humble, or you know generous or something like that, because Pisces always have duality. Any planet that goes into the sign of Pisces is going to express that duality of extremes. Okay, so that is one thing. Then this Saturn coming over Leo, that's your 10th lord. That means significant changes within your career so as to stabilize your career. Like one example I gave you previously with my doctor's story, right? So this can act as a very good time for your career, but it will come in with transformation. This transformation may not feel towards a good thing in the beginning, but definitely it is going to stabilize your career. It is going to give you a good time with your career. It is going to give you good finances. And especially when it comes over Sun in such a placement, it's not more about finance, but it's more about one's respect and one's authority within their work. So it kind of either gives promotion or relocation with a promotion, or simply you go for your own business and become an entrepreneur by yourself. But this can be a very good time for your career in terms of your, if you are suppose in a student, you are into education, then what will happen is that you can find the hardest time to concentrate with your studies, and this time having sun in the fifth house, being the 10th lord, and being in the sign of Pisces, this can be very lucky with educational terms. It can be, a person who is very lucky with the winning. The victory is a tagline for this individual, but this Saturn will make you lose once, so as to let you learn that what failure is about. So it can give you a failure like situation, but then it will make you rise after you have learned your lesson. Okay. Now, if suppose you have moon in the fifth house and then Saturn comes over it. Now, this moon is your ninth lord. So that simply means there's a heavy karma and heavy set of lessons that you have to learn through this Saturn's transit. This Saturn is going to make you learn, about how it feels when a person does not feel lucky, when a person is not lucky, with a person having their ninth lord into the fifth house, and that too in the sign of Pisces, these people are very fine on their education. They are very creative also. On the other hand, they are very good with memorizing things. So they are very bright students when they are into school and colleges. They are one of the bright students. Now this Saturn will suppress your emotions there. This Saturn will make you get into a situation where you'll be like that everything always worked out for me. Now why this is the situation with me, then why things are not working out now? But if you manage your emotions, certainly, if you manage your actions, if you stick to your ethics, you stick to your goals, this is going to give you such good fruits of your life. This Saturn would want you to focus on the fifth house, and with the matters of the fifth house, it requires focus, although it will give you n number of distractions in the surroundings, but it will test your focus. Your focus is there, it is going to give you all the fruits you want. Okay. Then with moon being the ninth lord, it can affect your relationship with the mentors, gurus, and with the father also. It will also affect the health of the father also. So you will have to take care of the health of your father as well. Okay. Now next is Mars. If Mars comes into the fifth house, that turns out to be your first lord and your sixth lord. There has to be some conflict associated with your romantic life. You may have I will repeat myself in all the videos, but when Saturn comes over Mars, it's a highly, highly technical conjunction. It will first make you learn some technical education and dive into some technical skill. It can do very well with that, with an education which involves research, technicalities, computers, and isolated time. On the other hand, it always talks about Kalesh. It always talks about warlike situation. So there can be a warlike situation within your head, in your mind. The hunger yours to make money, to make quick money, that is going to lead you towards some problematic situation. So be aware with that. There has been lack of actions, and rather I would say lack of appropriate actions, and that is going to be the reason why you're going to have conflicts within either your marriage or your life in general, or your romantic relationships, where now your partner is going to start questioning you that where are your efforts, where are your responsibilities. It's not about just you reacting all the time. This is about for you to take the credibility, right? So this can be, the conflicts can come there, because see, the sixth lord is coming into the fifth house, then first lord is also joining it. So it's more about the personality changes, the criticism that you're going to get, about your personality, and also the problems you're going to get with the conflicts, with the obstacles you're going to get within the fifth house. So it can even give you obstacles with your education, with your career, not that much with the career, but I would say the education first. Okay, so it also suppresses one's energy towards the fifth house. So you will feel like I don't have the energy to deal with my romantic partner or deal with this education and want to give it up and things like that. So it will suppress your energy. But the good part is it will now the kind of energy you have been scattered, have been scattering around, it will now focus it and give you a focus towards the fifth house, towards your karma that is left in the fifth house to be fulfilled. Okay. Now, next is the planet Jupiter. Sorry. So when Jupiter is in the fifth house, that's the lord of your second and the fifth house. This definitely talks about marriage or it talks about birth of a child, but it is a very, very good combination to have in terms of materialistic wealth and blessings, right? But the only condition is you have to be fair, you have to be truthful, you have to be involved in the present. The more you are involved in the present, the more you are taking the responsibility of your family, of your children, the more fortune you will be getting. You are going to get work, lots and lots of work. You will get recognized for that work, and you will be getting knowledge out of that work. But your responsibility towards your goals, your financial perspective, your philosophical thinking, your research work area, all of these are going to matter. There can be a significant event that is going to happen in your child's life. Suppose you are a person in your 40s, 50s, maybe your child is going to get married. If you have had your child maybe with 40, you might have had your child in 15 years old. I'm sorry, if you're 50 or 50 above, then you might have your child who is eligible for getting married. So that can be the time. So it is something significant. It can be that they are going to go for education. It can be that for the people who are aged. But if you are supposed very young, then this talks about your marriage. It talks about your childbirth. It talks about your education. But this is a good time for all the things in your life, all the significant things in your life, because it does make a very strong Raj and Dhan yoga here. Okay, now next is Venus. So Venus is exalted here in the fifth house, and then it turns out to be the seventh lord and the 12th lord. So it will give you your involvement into creative endeavors. You are going to start creating something, and you might start creating something with your, by getting into partnership with someone else. So partnership can also be on the line with Saturn and Venus conjunction, Saturn coming over your Venus in the fifth house. I am telling you, it definitely calls for a love affair. If you're unmarried, it can be a love affair of a lifetime you're going to have, a love encounter. If you're married, it can be an affair outside marriage. You can control it. I remember also doing this prediction for someone like 2 to 3 days ago, and that person asked me that I don't think I am a person who would do that, but you never know of the circumstances. So, do you think I can change this karma? So I told them that yes, of course you can change that karma. See, if you're bound to encounter such a situation, you will encounter such a situation. But what decision you are going to take then? Suppose that person approaches you. You say no once, they approaches you twice, thrice. You again say no, no. You keep on saying no, and you're determined on this fact that I'm not going to indulge with anyone except my spouse. Then nobody can let you go into that cheating phase. But if you do, that's what Saturn wants. It's not that what Saturn wants, but that is the test Saturn is running. Saturn is just waiting that you fail in your test, and I would give you that karma. I would make you learn what you should have said back then. So that's your free will here that works. Okay, so with Venus here in the fifth house, that become being the seventh and the 12th lord, this see, 12th house is about your bed pleasures, seventh house is about your relationship. So it will give you karma related to that. It can distance you with your spouse as well, as in you may be traveling for work, she or he may be traveling for work, so because of that, the physical distance could be there, which would lead to such a situation. But you need to make sure that I am not the one indulging into that. And when you pass in your test, then Saturn will be the one to bless you with a superb relationship with your spouse, a devotion, a devoted and full of, you know, commitment relationship with the spouse. You don't have to be ignorant and oblivion about your spouse with having Venus in the sign of Pisces and Saturn coming over it. You have to be involved within their life. Ask them every day, just ask them how your day was. Even though they are not reciprocating or things have been that way that they don't have a habit of you interfering, and asking them every day. Maybe you have been distant. Try to build a bond with them. Try to ask them every day how their day went, how they are feeling. That can help you heal your relationship. And remember this one thing, Pisces is the sign of healing. Pisces is the one who heals. So healing is the agenda of Saturn coming here is also healing. Okay. So now the next is Mercury. Mercury is debilitated in the sign of Pisces. So it's a debilitated Mercury in your fifth house. So you do have a lot of curiosity within you, but your curiosity is about the subjects which are not logical, but they are neither illogical. They're scientific in nature, they're technical in nature. They are research oriented. They are out of this space. Like, for example, Reiki healing or healing, Ayurvedic healing. I'm not saying it is not logical, but it is something which not everyone could understand. It could be any sort of healing subjects or mythological subjects or subjects related to such things, right? The 12th house matter, the research matter, the out of this world matters, spiritual matters, right? So Mercury is the lord of your eighth house and it is the lord of your 11th house. Now, both these lords are coming into your fifth house. So there can be some ups and downs you can experience with your love life and also with the life with the children aspect. There is a gain like situation, at the other end there is also a loss like situation. So it's like, since Mercury is also debilitated there, so I think first of all it can give anxiety to an individual, it can give panic attacks to an individual, and it just wants you to strengthen. When Saturn comes over your Mercury, it wants you to strengthen your nervous system. It wants you to gain control over your body, over your reflexes. So if you do not want to have such problems, you don't want to have anxiety, you don't want to have nervous breakdowns, you don't want to have panic attacks, go and build good reflexes. Do those exercise to build good reflexes, and most importantly, with the debilitated Mercury, meditate. Meditate so as to gain a perfect control and, you know, rigid control, or you can just say strong control over over your actions, over your body, over your reflexes, over your mind specifically. This Saturn coming over Mercury, it activates gains from unexpected sources. Okay, so when you expect the lowest, that is the time when you're going to actually gain. But when you expect, I am going to achieve this thing, you'll not be achieving that. That's the karma of debilitated Mercury there. Be fine with your logic. Try to think logically and intellectually. Do not take quick decisions. When Saturn comes over Mercury, it says this is your time to not take hasty decisions, not take impulsive decisions. Rather, be patient and observe first. First, observe for as long as you can, and then take a decision. This also makes you dive into technical professions or technical learnings. Like, for example, you start learning, you know, some creative endeavor, like creating a software, creating something innovative with numbers, with coding, decoding. Okay. Okay. So with Mercury, there are your communication is going to get restricted. Your, your ability to have curiosity for different aspects of knowledge, that is going to also get suppressed with Saturn coming over Mercury in the fifth house. So that's why you would require to focus on one particular subject on in one direction, right? So going into one, two, three options of anything related to either education, like learning two to three things at same time, desiring to have two to three love encounters at the same time, all these things are going to be the catalyst for your karma, are going to be the catalyst for your, the suppression of your communication and the suppression of your, you know, sorry, confusions. Because Mercury is a promiscuous person, he's a prince. This Saturn coming over this Mercury is going to challenge that confusion or that dual choices that you juggle in. So it will make you straightforward during this time. It will make you clear with your options and with your target for this time. So as a aspect of what is it good for you or is it bad for you, it's actually for something good which is going to happen. But the process can be full of obstacles. Okay, this can even lead you towards addiction towards sexual encounters, towards it is actually going to give you karma with that, because of you might have had this habit of having so many relationships, and without even giving a thought you might jump into relationships, and then you get affected emotionally with that, or maybe in the past you were not affected, but now with Saturn coming here you are going to get karma through a sexual relationship. You'll just feel vulnerable. You'll feel that earlier I didn't used to cry over these breakups, but now I'm used to, I mean, now I'm crying and now I'm feeling that kind of nostalgia, right? So that is going to be the thing which is going to happen here. Now, after Mercury, we have Saturn. Saturn coming over Saturn in the fifth house, it's like your Saturn natal return. This is your third and your fourth lord. It will make you dive deeper into higher, not higher education, but education and learning some technical skills. These technical skills will be related to research. You will be presenting your skills at a larger level, right? It also shows that you will be able to earn good amount of money through your education, through your skills, and through your ideas. So it's a time where you use your ideas and put them into action within your career. So it can act as a, it can also make you shift your residence. It can make you buy a home or do some changes within your home. But this talks about your efforts, your skills combined with your comfort space. It's like you're turning your career around by following a path which you feel you're passionate about, which is a path which is backed up by your inbuilt talents, right? And you'll use them into that particular career and you'll be recognized for that, right? So the Saturn natal return is going to give you karma related to education. So that karma is like that maybe the education that you might have been following till now was not the one which was meant for you. So there's a significant change you might experience within your career because this house is eighth from the 10th house. So it's a transformation with your career. Okay. Now, next is Rahu. Rahu in the fifth house, already a person is in their own thought. They are very obsessive with the fact that they must have must have the proper control to a situation, or they just want to have the control, and that's why it makes a very clever-minded individual. And they feel addicted towards romance, towards knowledge, towards romantic encounters, things like that, and even towards comforts. So this Saturn is going to challenge that Rahu. This Saturn is going to make that Rahu work now. So it can indulge you into technical learnings. Like, for example, you have started learning AI, or you have started using AI into your work and then doing something in your profession. It also shows that there can be excessive control that you're going to feel, that I need to control such a situation. This is your time to actually let go of that control. This is your time to be less obsessive about, control and about whatever is happening in the surroundings. You have to let loose for some time. With Saturn coming into this house over Rahu, this also will make you learn. They will make you gain knowledge. This is a very good time for gaining knowledge. It will dive you into crypto, into shares, speculation, speculative business, but you can get very unpredictable results, or you know the results that you might not know. You might expect very unexpected results with this placement. Also, do not indulge into alcohol or substances, or substance type of issue can arise for you. So this is very, very necessary for you to be careful with that particular factor. Okay. But the Saturn will, of course, control this Rahu and make it work really well towards something good in the career. But on a personal end, it can be destructive. So that's why be very careful of your actions, your reactions, and the influences you have towards your decisions. Try not to take any very major decisions while Saturn is very close to the degrees of Rahu. Okay, now last is Ketu. If suppose Ketu is in the fifth house, I always say whenever Saturn comes over Ketu, it guides this Ketu. It leads that towards a path. So that's why Saturn coming over Ketu is going to, activate that house in that manner that your detachment from that house, or you not being able to dig deep into that house or understand what significance that house has for you, this Saturn is going to make you learn that. This Saturn would want you to indulge into deep sets, deep side of that particular house, right? Deep set of that particular house, so as to analyze what is lying beneath it. So it's a research oriented time. It's a time which can activate romance for you people. So it can activate marriage opportunity. There can be marriage on the cards. There can be, childbirth on the cards. So it will actually work around with Ketu in this house. Right. So having Ketu in the fifth house in the sign of Pisces, and then Saturn coming over it, it's a spiritual transformation, and it will work well towards many situations in your life. Okay. So guys, this was my analysis about Scorpio ascendants or Scorpio moon sign, that how the Saturn is going to affect you for the next almost 3 years. Although the transit is always for 2.5 years, but due to retrogression and going back and forth in 2027, it is going to lead till 2028 February. So yes, this was my analysis. We'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. Take care.